Hi guys, this lesson is for Wednesday, the 25th, and I hope you're doing well. We are going to start a new chapter today, and the title of this chapter, let me pull it up, is The Spread of Imperialism. Now remember, we talked about, and remember what imperialism is. Anybody can tell me what imperialism is? It's basically the dominance and power asserted by one nation over less powerful nations. So we talked about how the British people came in to Africa. Now this is happening around the world. So we're done with Africa, but at the same time, things are happening with other nations. All right, so before we begin, I want you to look at the timeline that we're going to be discussing, okay? And we're going to be discussing the 7 Years' War between England and France, which happened in 1756. The Battle of Plassey breaks France's strength in India, 1757. Then you go on to Napoleon invades Egypt. Now remember, we talked about Napoleon before and he was exiled, but now we're going to bring him back again just for this topic. Alexander I becomes the Tsar of Russia, and then Napoleon invades Russia. Doesn't work very well because of the winter. No one can handle it. That's kind of funny because that happened with Hitler too. The Charter Act gives the British Crown control over British East India Company. Nicholas becomes the Tsar of Russia, and then the December Revolt in Russia in 1825. Then there's a few more on the timeline. Let's see here. Go up. There we go. You have the Opium Wars between China and Britain begin in 1842. The Treaty of Kanagawa between America and Japan. The Crimean War, 1854 to 1855. Alexander II becomes the Tsar of Russia in 1855. And then you have the Sepoy Mutiny in India. Also, I missed it, but the Taiping Rebellion. One of the most important things is that Alexander III becomes Tsar of Russia in 1881. The 100 Days Reform in China. The Boxer Rebellion, which was really important. And then the Russo-Japanese War in 1905. You're going to see the decline of Russia and how it went from having czars to the communist Bolshevik Revolution. Okay, so look at, I want you to go to the first page, but I want you to look at some of the questions that we're going to discuss, okay? The big ideas. How did the Ottoman Empire respond to the challenges of territorial loss and imperialism? You know what imperialism is, right? Why did Russia reform fail to address their nation's problems? That's something that we are going to discuss and talk about. And then some more questions, big idea questions, is what were the consequences of European imperialism in India? How did China's Qing dynasty respond to economic and political crisis? And how did Japan transform into a modern nation state? So that is what we're going to learn in this chapter. The decline of the Ottoman Empire is the beginning. Now, these are guiding questions. Why was the Ottoman Empire forced to retreat from the Balkans and the Black Sea region? And what did the French invasion of Egypt in 1798 reveal? Okay, and then another one. What modern nation emerged from the declining Ottoman Empire? Okay. The one thing I want you to take into consideration this time is the Ottoman Empire. Remember, okay, so if you go back to, let's see, I think it was chapter 11. We talked about the Ottoman Empire and how they defeated the Byzantine Empire, and then they changed the name, the capital, from Constantinople to Istanbul, okay? Istanbul, okay, which is what it is today. So it went it was pretty successful for a few hundred years until around this time. And that's what happens. We talked about this throughout ancient history. There's always one empire, and it gets defeated or fails, and then it goes into another empire and another empire. Okay? So this is happening with the Ottoman Empire. So it's going to become, instead of the Ottoman Empire, it's going to be the Russian Empire. The Russians are going to take place, which is very important because Russia then captures all these countries around this area, the Black Sea, and they become the communist Soviet Union, right? So it's heading towards that. We're heading towards World War I, World War II. Okay? So one of the two words that you need to know is, oops, let me pull it up. The Balkans, and the Balkans was a large region in southeastern Europe. You can see that in your book on page, let's see what page it is. Page 284, okay? On 284, and then you have that map there that you can kind of look at next to so you can see. Okay, so the Balkans is a large region in southeastern Europe, and then the Black Sea is another term, okay? The Black Sea is right there in the middle. It was maintained control by the Ottoman Empire, and then, like I said, Russia ends up taking it. So you look at all the little countries around the Black Sea, there's a lot. There's Russia and Georgia and Turkey and Bulgaria, Moldova, Ukraine, Romania, all those countries that are important, okay? So that is one of the terms. Let's see, let me go back to my notes here, sorry. So the Balkans, the thing you know is Russia supported some of the newly independent states. A lot of these people started becoming independent. They weren't part of the empire. They started pulling away, and Russia supported that. Russia helped them do that. And then of the Black Sea region, like I said, was increased control by the Russian Empire. Ottoman Empire is gonna decline. You don't hear much about it anymore. It becomes Turkey, but you don't, it's not Turkey, it's now just Turkey. Not gobble, 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 but regular Turkey, the country Turkey. Okay, and then you have the French invasion of Egypt. Remember, Napoleon goes to Egypt to try to capture it. He's there, but it backfires on him. It doesn't, because the British come in and eventually defeat Napoleon, and so he doesn't get any part of Egypt. Okay, then let's see. And the last thing you need to know about is Mahmud II. Mahmud II, he came into power when there was instability, and that's kind of hard, especially like when a president comes in and there's a crisis in the nation and they have to take it over and make it better. But he comes in and he wants to gain their independence. And what had happened is he had a half-brother that didn't want him in power. He killed the Sultan. The Sultan was like the ruler, and then he tried to kill his half-brother, but he escapes. He escapes from the window. But there's a legend, a story, it may not be true because it's a legend, that a servant girl was by the fireplace and the killers came in to capture him, and she threw ashes in their eyes and blinded them for a little while. And as they were blinded, Mahmud was able to escape over the roof, and some pages, people helped, put cloth so that he could climb down. He climbed down and he was able to escape, and they were able to give the girl, instead of a servant, she became an important person in government. Now, we don't know that's true, that's legend, that's a story that I heard someone else tell, but he actually laid the foundation for modern Turkey. So I want you to read your sentences, and then let's just go over some of the questions together. That way you don't have to do it by yourself, okay? let's see here. Okay, so in the section of review questions, it says, where are the Balkan states located? Let's see if I have Clinton. Clinton, why don't you answer that? I'll give you a second. How you guys doing? I miss you, really do. It's kind of hard teaching because I don't have your, you talking back to me. I mean, it's easier because I'm not saying stop talking, but I do miss you guys a lot. But the answer is in Southeastern Europe, and you can find that on page 284. Next question is, what empire had maintained control of the Black Sea region for centuries? And it is Anne. It is the Ottoman Empire, and that's page 284. Next one, this one is for Wyatt. Wyatt, what Ottoman territory did Napoleon attempt to conquer in 1798? Egypt. That was Egypt. Okay, Egypt on page 285. Who came to power and the Ottoman Empire during its period of decline? Let's see, Jonathan, are you on here? I haven't heard back from you, but hopefully you're on here. But it's Mahmud II, and it's 285. And the last one, how did the Ottomans respond to the emperor's reform? Okay, this is the star question. You don't usually have to do it, but I'm asking you now. Let's see, who am I going to call on? Alyssa. Alyssa, what's your answer? They embraced European clothing, European laws, and land reform. Good job. I miss you again. Don't forget to send me your 3 points on what you learned today, and text me once in a while. I pray for you. I miss you. I love you. Make good choices.